What's up, gamers? I watched every single movie nominated for Best Picture for the 2024 Oscars. And you're gonna watch this video because I spent years watching these movies. So much goddamn time reviewing, articulating my thoughts into eloquent sentences, soliloquies even, for your viewing pleasure. So you're gonna sit down and you're gonna subscribe and you're gonna like and you're gonna comment and we're gonna figure out which one is the worst Best Picture and the best Best Picture. And by the end, we'll have an answer. We got 10 films up on the chopping block. Killers of the Flower Moon, Poor Things, The Holdovers, Barbie, Anatomy of a Fall, American Fiction, Maestro, The Zone of Interest, Past Lives, and Oppenheimer. And one film will win Best Picture from yours truly, the Flitch Award, patent pending. I still haven't watched all the movies yet. You're going to get them in order of how I watch them. And by the end, we'll see who wins.
Oppenheimer, Oppenheimer. When will it stop, Oppenheimer? I am become bored. LOL, psych. This movie was probably one of the best films that I've seen of the year. So it was so good. It was extraordinary. Cillian Murphy, Florence Pugh, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., fucking Matt Damon. Played all of these supporting role characters, our main characters in this movie, and they crush it. I don't know if I have to give you a synopsis on Oppenheimer. I feel like everyone has seen it at this point, and I feel like everyone's already made their opinions and judgments about this movie. It's just good. Just a really, really extremely well put together, just textbook film. The movie's set into two different time periods. One timeline follows Oppenheimer going through the Manhattan Project and then ultimately creating the atomic bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. There's another timeline that takes place after the fact. And both of these are played sequentially, side by side, throughout the entire movie. Excellent choice of storytelling. Christopher Nolan knocked this one out of the park. I really enjoy the fact that very little, if not no, CGI was used at all in this film. I'm sure that there were a couple of parts that they added, maybe some enhancement, but for the most part, he stuck with practicals in creating one of the most visually stunning and very, very, very well written script. Cillian Murphy might as well just be Oppenheimer. He might as well. Everybody in this movie just seems so believable. Everyone did their homework 12 times over, times 24 million. I enjoyed the theater experience so much. It felt like you were in one of those old-timey colleges, you know, where the professor's right here, and then there's just like a billion chairs just around him, and he's just spouting science, being like, yes, the blah blah blah, the blue blah blah, and everyone's like, huh, yes, with their leather pleated vest and bolo tie. That this movie simultaneously makes you feel like the smartest person in the room, and then also the dumbest person in the room. There is so much scientific mumbo jumbo in this movie. It's a slog sometimes, and it's 3 hours of dense dialogue. Like, you could have told me that this movie was just live footage of J. Robert Oppenheimer's life, and I would believe you. I would believe you. It's just 3 hour cut of just his entire life. It might as well be. They did their due diligence in telling this harrowing tale, well, this harrowing true event that happened, and how, you know, it affected not only the entire world but this one man as well. And it's like the movie allows you to get into his brain and think, how would you feel if you discovered the secret to destroy the world, and you knew that it was just openly out there, and that there's a slight chance that it could be your fault for the destruction of everything. Also, I like how they handled the Manhattan Project in this movie. I really enjoyed that they did not show the atomic blast on Hiroshima. Rather, they just showed like the test blast that they did, and then, you know, the aftermath afterwards, after the bomb had already gone off in Hiroshima, and it's just Oppenheimer just realizing what he has done and what he has unleashed onto the world. Powerful movie. Christopher Nolan, one of my favorite indie directors. You probably know him from Tenet. Great movie. This one is probably going to win so many goddamn awards. And you know what? I would not be mad I would not be mad. Which movie's next?
Can men and women live together in perfect harmony? No. This is the story of Barbie. Now, let me just get this out of the way. I love Barbie. I thought Barbie was a great movie. I thought it was very creative, very expressive in its narrative and its thematics. You know, the colors were super bright. It had me engaged the entire time. The directing, solid. Editing, amazing. Cinematography, top notch. The writing, though, Gad's brain. Gads. I think some parts of this movie feel like the writers talking and not the characters talking in just some parts. I feel like, I don't know, the movie really wants to just shove down your throat its core theme like you didn't understand it the first time that they said it, right? And their core theme is that, you know, they want to push the positive message of feminism, and then also patriarchy bad, which I just realized that I look like an Andrew Tate, like an Andrew Tate impersonator. That's really funny. Talking about Barbie. No, but I mean, it's like those are really good messages to have in your movie. It's like it's always great to spread the message of feminism, and it's always great to spread the message that, you know, the patriarchy kind of sucks. You knock it out of the park that first time, and you keep swinging. You just keep trying to keep swinging. Sometimes your message can get lost in the sauce, you know. And it's not the entire film, right? It's just, I don't know. And also some of the plot stuff, in my opinion, I feel like the latter half of the film is way better than the first half of the film. It feels like they're speedrunning. Get Barbie out of Barbie Land, get her in the real world, and then put her back in Barbie Land. Bam. And once they get back to Barbie Land, hey yo, Bob's your uncle, the world's your oyster. It's smooth sailing from there, and it's good. It's good. It's really good from then on, because, you know, in the beginning it just feels like we just keep going, and we don't get a lot of moments to really empathize with Barbie, right? To understand what kind of character that she is. We only get to really understand that in that later half of the film, in my opinion. This is my opinion. In the beginning, it's kind of this really weird balance between comedy and tension, which it's one scene that comes out to me is that, and this plays into another thing that I think is kind of odd about this movie. It's just that I call it accept the now, where people just go along with everything just to make the movie go, right? In the beginning parts of the movie, Barbie goes to the real world, and she meets this girl, and this girl is like, wait a minute, you're Barbie? And she's like, yeah. And then the girl just believes that she's Barbie. And then the girl tells her mom that person said she was Barbie. And then the mom's like, Barbie? The mom's like, immediately, that's Barbie. That is the real Barbie. That's my Barbie, actually. That's my Barbie. I don't know why I'm so animated for Barbie. And mind you, I really did enjoy the film. There's just a couple of things that it's just a couple nitpicky things, you know, like the mom character and the daughter character in the beginning part of that movie, man, they had to just get rushed into the plot. But in the later parts, they're good. My favorite part of the movie is when the mom does her speech about women's struggles and about how no matter what, they feel like everyone's against them, and you try to be this perfect person, and then you're always told that you're not enough. Right, and you're always trying to reach this unattainable goal, and people always put you down. That was a great message in the latter half of the film, because it came from the depths of her soul, not the writer's room. I felt the character say those lines. I did not hear the PA who was running to go get coffee walking in and being like, good line. It felt genuine. It felt great. And the song at the end, the Billie Eilish song, what am I made for? I think that's what it's called. That's such a great message to end this film, because that's the whole point of the movie. Barbie and Ken go through this giant journey trying to figure out who they are and what their roles are. Barbie wants to know why she was created and what is her purpose. Ken also wants to know his purpose. Is he made just for Barbie? Are they supposed to be together just because, you know, they're marketed that way by a corporation? Or Is he supposed to be this authority figure after he goes and sees the real world and comes back to Barbie land and tries to rule with an iron fist using the power of patriarchy? No. The moral of the film is to be yourself. Is to be who you want to be. You are not held by the bounds of somebody else. You are held by the bounds of your own actions. And who you want to be and what you want to be is up to you. And you know who taught me that? Barbie, my favorite movie. No, but seriously, I really did like this movie. Okay, Greta Gerwig is awesome. Good movie. I like. The fuck did I just watch? What did I just watch? What? I don't know what I was expecting going into this movie. I had really, really high hopes, and boy howdy, they skyrocketed through the ceiling. This movie was so much better than I thought it was gonna be. You will never see a movie like this. It was so good. But also, don't just read the synopsis and think that's what the movie is gonna be, because it's not. It's just not. There is no way you could predict anything that happens in this movie. Period. That's it. You just can't. You just can't. It's the same guy who made The Lobster and Killing of the Sacred Deer. I forget his name. I also don't know. I just don't know how to pronounce it. He makes really, really dark and surreal movies. And man, this was definitely those two things mixed into one. And I'm a sucker for surrealist for a surrealist abstract film. It's my bread and it's my butter. And this movie is so weird. It's so goddamn. It's so good. Willem Dafoe does this thing where he throws up like a bubble in this movie, and it's funny every single time. But, you know, I could see this movie being a very controversial film for a lot of people. I don't think this is a film that everybody will resonate with. I think that you'll either be on one of two sides. Either you really, really dig it, or you just won't. You just won't. Oh my god. But they do kind of the same thing as Oppenheimer a little bit, where some of the film is in black and white and some of the film's in like really, really vibrant colors. The set design's awesome. It's kind of like Victorian era meets sci-fi. Like you'll have these old puffy dresses and like spaceships and stuff, you know, like these giant flying jets and these really big boats. This film is separated into acts, and each act has a different title card, which takes, you know, homage from the old movies in like the 1920s and the 30s. Okay, now bear with me. Emma Stone plays a character named Bella Baxter in this movie. This woman is brought back to life after a suicide attempt. A man finds her body and sees that she is of child, and he takes the child's brain and implants it into her brain and reanimates her. And so she's a full-grown woman, but with a child's intellect. And throughout the entire movie, it's her just discovering things about the world. You get to see her progression. She starts off, and her speech patterns are, you know, it's very simple. She speaks in the first person. She says, Bella want this, Bella want that. By the end of the movie, like she still talks the way that she wants to talk, but it's a lot more elegant. Emma Stone, if she does not take the Oscar for Best Actress after this movie, I don't even know, man. I don't even know. Her performance was nutty, man. I ain't never seen nothing like this. I've seen a lot of online discourse about this one trope in film called, I think it's called Born Sexy Yesterday. It's pretty much a trope that's set in sci-fi genres where you have a girl who is either reborn or she's been frozen for a very long time and wakes up in another time. She has to rediscover the entire world, but the thing is she's led by a man to help her discover all of these things. And then by the end, she'll fall in love with the man, and you know, it's like the man is taking advantage of her childlike wonder, her childlike mentalities, and it's kind of weirdly perverse. And people are equating that this is the sole construct of this film, and I feel like I just have to disagree. And please don't debate me. I'm just saying my opinion. You can think otherwise. Like I'm totally cool if you think that the film is like this, but personally, I think they're using this topic as kind of an abstract way to subvert your expectation, right? And it's like this director's whole deal is that he'll take something very, very taboo, a lot of taboo things, needle nose on it, and then poke fun about our society. There's a lot of themes in this movie. Like, they focus on, like, what really creates evil? What are a man's true intentions? If God creates you, do you have ownership over your body, or does God have ownership over your body? Same goes with if you're a woman and you're with a man, does a man have ownership over your body? And, you know, the resounding lesson learned in this movie is no. A woman's body is her body. It's for her to choose what she wishes to do with her body. They have full autonomy over their actions and can do whatever they want to do. And this is seen through the main character, Bella Baxter, in the film, where, yes, she's a little naive at times and she can be susceptible to, you know, the fickleness of man and just people around her. But ultimately, she always speaks her mind and she always does what she wants to do. She's very stubborn and she's very ignorant, but it comes from a very genuine place inside of Bella. And for her to go through this world where she doesn't know anything, she's discovering, she's figuring out, like, why are some things like this in this world, and why can't everyone just be happy like this? Why do people have to struggle when other people have everything? It's a film that'll make you think. If you can get past all of just, like, the crazy stuff that they put on that screen. Like, if you do not like intimate scenes, there is one, like, every 5 minutes in this movie. So watch with caution, and maybe don't watch this movie with your parents. But yeah, same kind of morals as Barbie. I really enjoyed this movie. It's going to be hard to top it. I still haven't watched the other ones yet, so maybe I can find one that is better than Poor Things. But so far, Poor Things, ooh, it's good. Ooh, this movie's so good. All right, let me start editing this video. Yeah, I should probably. How long have I been talking? I've been talking for fucking 14 minutes. Okay, I'm redoing this because the audio for the last one was really bad. So I'm just gonna try to speed run through this. Killers of the Flower Moon. The first time I watched it, I hated the movie. I did not like it. I thought Leonardo DiCaprio's character was too dumb, too stupid. I thought the entire plot of these white people trying to infiltrate this Indian tribe seemed a little too cartoonishly evil for Martin Scorsese's palette. Man, this guy made Wolf of Wall Street. What happened? Oh my God, I can't believe it. I was in complete, utter disarray. And then it happened. I looked up the film, and it was based on a true story. I did not know that. So I watched the movie again. It's good. It's good. It's a good movie. It's great. The story, the whole point of the movie, it's about the Osage tribe and their rise to riches, but then it's also a tragedy because of these white people that tried to infiltrate the Osage tribe to marry into their families and then kill them and then take their inheritance slowly over time and to get their names written into the land and take over all their oil and everything. Why? Because of greed. Corporate greed, big oil, big money, and you know, I think my thoughts still about Leonardo DiCaprio in this movie still stand. I don't think this movie is his best role. However, I do think that Lily Gladstone killed this entire movie with good acting, with really good acting. That was a really weird way for me to say that, but Lily Gladstone was top notch in this movie. Every scene that she was in, she took control. And I was glued the entire time. And it made me think, why isn't the entire movie told from the Osage perspective? It's told from the perspective of the whites, of the white people. Now, this isn't me getting all up in arms because white people are in a movie. I'm just saying it because it's funny. But also, it would be really interesting to see it through their perspective and get more representation from the Osage tribe in the movie. Every single scene that this tribe is in, they dominate so hard. There's a scene early in the movie where they're discussing one of the first counts of murder amongst their tribe, and it's just and it's in their native language, and they're all just standing in a circle just talking to each other, and it's captivating. It's so good. Then you get Leonardo DiCaprio in there, and my man just pulls one of these the entire time. And Leonardo DiCaprio's relationship with Lily Gladstone in this movie, man, is it a confusing one, because because he plays a double agent in the movie. Spoilers, by the way. Spoilers, big spoilers. If you made it this far into this and you didn't think that there was going to be spoilers, oops. But also, subscribe while you're still here. You made it this far. This is like 30 minutes into the video, maybe, probably, I don't know. But yeah, Lily Gladstone, Leonardo DiCaprio, their relationship was very, very strange, because Leonardo DiCaprio, he's in on this scheme for them to take control over the Osage tribe, and he's supposed to play, this naive, gullible little guy that just goes along with all the hijinks by fucking, I almost said Rio de Janeiro and Ron De Niro. Oh my god, what's his name? What the fuck is his name? Robert De Niro. Yeah. And he gets swindled by Robert De Niro with these big old googly glasses, and he drives a little car in this movie, and he just looks so cute. I just want to give him like a little pat on the head, just tell him that he's doing great, give him a gold sticker, and then send him off to the school bus, because man, just Robert De Niro look like a little cutie in this movie. Man, just want to give him a little, just right there, right, just a little, on the temple, right there. That's for you, Robert De Niro, right? This movie is long. It's very, very long, very dialogue heavy. The camera barely moves. The camera stays very, very, very still, very standard coverage throughout the entire film, because it's focusing on the tragedy. It's focusing on the story, and that takes precedent over flashy camera moves and super duper crazy explosion Jason Statham. But hey, I thoroughly enjoyed this film on my second time watching it, now that I know it's based on real events. And you know what? The man from Shark Tale, he did it. That's Martin Scorsese, by the way, if you didn't know. He plays this pufferfish in Shark Tale. But next movie, I don't know if you could tell, but I'm very, very tired. I just got done watching a very, very long film. It was 2.5 hours. It was called Anatomy of a Fall. This movie is so good that it's on Obama's best of a 2023 watch list. So if that means anything to you, just let you know that this movie has Obama's seal of approval. And do I even have to say anything else? I mean, I might as well. I'm already here. So what's the movie about? What is this movie about? Well, more or less, this movie is about justice. What are the facts? What's real? What's not? There's an accident that happens at a household with a mother, a husband, and a son. The son is blind, and there's also a dog. Remember the dog. The husband ends up dead. He's fallen on the ground outside of their home, and it seems that he fell from a very high height, hit his head, and passed away. Died. We don't see him fall. That's what we are presented with, this scenario. It's her and this child going through the process of, trying to prove their innocence, to prove that they didn't kill the husband, that the wife didn't kill her husband. And as the movie progresses, your line of morality for all these characters, it becomes very thin. Was this a suicide, or was this actually a murder that happened, a successful murder? One of the big morals of this film is that everything can be held against you. No matter what you do, people are always making judgments about you. Even though they're not outright saying it, they're always making judgments. And, sometimes you don't even know that you're making these judgments about certain things. Whenever shit hits the fan like this, everything that you do can be used against you. How you wake up in the morning, how you say hello to people, down to just the very, very minute details that can be used to interpret how you act as a person in front of a jury. Is justice something that is always satisfactory? I'm not going to spoil the end of the film, but I will tell you that it leaves it on a very, very, and this is going to sound weird, it leaves it on a very satisfyingly unsatisfying ending, which I don't want to spoil it, because I feel like you should go watch it if you're into these kinds of movies. It is a slog. I'm not gonna lie. I did fall asleep, and I usually when I fall asleep during a movie, it's very, very hard for me to get back in and power through. But the second half of the film started to play, and it instantly hooked me again. The cast is so unbelievably strong. in this film. It's a French film. They constantly switch from English to French throughout the entire movie, and that's a whole motif in itself. It's this cross between barriers, these two different worlds. One where, you know, people will only understand you if you speak French, people understand you if you speak English. You have to be able to cross that barrier to be able to explain yourself, and if you can't, you know, people are gonna think a certain way about you. But every single person is so strong in this movie. Even the kid is so good in this movie. He probably has one of my favorite scenes in this movie, but the character who takes the cake in this movie isn't even human. It's a dog, and I am not lying at all. The dog in this movie does the most impressive playing dead I have ever seen, ever. I did not think that you could train a dog to do that, but genuinely, when I saw this one scene where this dog had to play dead, and then like they revived the dog, I was genuinely blown away. I was like, God damn, give that dog an Oscar, bro. Give him an Oscar. He deserves the Good Boy Award. Why isn't there a Good Boy Award? Because he deserves it. Also, another part that was kind of funny, I think it was like 29 minutes into the film, the main actress, she drinks out of the world's smallest cup. And I just had to make note of that because I laughed so hard whenever I saw her just take this. It's a very, very, very serious film, but she takes like this tiny, like a cup built for like an elf. She takes it and she takes a little sip. My life is so hard. This is definitely one of those like sneak Oscar movies. I don't think that everyone's gonna love this film. I feel like a lot of people will check this out and tap out halfway through, just because it's a court case film, right? So it's just a lot of just heavy dialogue. The only settings that you have are their house and the courthouse, and maybe like outside of the courthouse. That's it. That is it. I'm very surprised with this line of Oscar picks, because last year a bunch of those movies were horrible. They were so bad. Tar, L. The Triangle of Sadness, L. But bro, these movies this year, this is going to be a very, very tough decision to make by the end of this video. And if you've watched this far into this video, why don't you subscribe? Do it. It's free. I am on a roll. There is no way that the next movie I watch is going to be bad. There's no way. When art becomes simplistic and meaningless, will you feed into the slop, or will you hold true to yourself? This is the story of American fiction. Wow, I knew nothing about this movie. Like the previous one, this was on Obama's best of list. It also has that moniker of importance to it because Obama knows which movies are good. Also, I want to say that this movie was directed by a man named Cord Jefferson, who had, prior to this, had only done TV shows. This was his first theatrical movie, and it's nominated for Best Picture and best 10 other things. Let that sink in. Somebody let that sink in. He's waiting outside. What's this movie about? What is the moral of this story? The story follows a man named Monk, his family, and his livelihood. It's a story about Black stories. It's satirical meta-commentary about Black stereotypes in media. Not only just Black stereotypes in media, but just how everything's pigeonholed into one kind of viewing experience. He's a professor and he's a writer. He's a very, very, very smart man, and he starts taking notice about all of the Black stories that are popular in media nowadays. Every story that you see is either an inner city kid who can't speak but then learns how to speak good, and then also has a deadbeat dad that's never there and has a drug problem and has been to jail and has killed a bunch of people or has had a bunch of people killed around him. It's kind of it's always this rags to riches story where Black stories are used as a way of seeing Black people as more of a spectacle, and then as rather than people telling genuine stories. He has a publisher, and his publisher wants him to write Black stories, and he's like, well, I'm Black and this is the story I want to write. It's not about inner city kids, it's not about drugs, it's not about anything. It's just a story that he wrote. Nobody cares. So he himself, as a joke, writes just the schlockiest book ever called My Pathology, and it's just full of just gangster slang, every Black stereotype known to man and people love it. People think it's inspiring. It's like he fails upwards every single time. The more that he tries to make fun of them, the more he's proving his point that people will just eat up this stuff because it feeds into a certain sensation that they have, easily digestible. No one wants super hard-hitting stuff because no one cares. It's like you can tell a whole story about your entire life, but I don't know if it ain't got action. Where's the explosions? Where's the tragedy? What? I can't just have a story about a chair? Why can't I just have a story about a chair? This reminds me of the movie Adaptation with Nicolas Cage. If anyone's ever seen Adaptation, watch that movie. Everything needs to be dumbed down for people. There was a good metaphor in the movie. A guy put up 3 bottles of alcohol with the exact same brand, except the only thing that was different is that the bottles of alcohol were cheaper. And so they had the red, the green, and the blue bottle. The blue one was the most expensive, and the red one was the least expensive. I may have that backwards, but just bear with me for a second. Even though that the blue one is the most expensive, it has the most quality for it and the best taste. But the red one, it's cheaper and it'll get you drunk faster. Not everyone is just drinking just for taste. Some people just want to drink just because they want to get drunk. You can put all of the effort in the world into something, but if someone can get the exact same thing but simpler, they're gonna go down that route, and because it's just easy. But the whole movie isn't just about that. Like that part of the story takes a bench seat for most of the movie. Like the whole point is to tell just a genuine good story with black characters and not have the core of the conflict be this is uniquely a black person issue. It's like this could happen to anybody. These are struggles that anyone can go through. Life is hard for everybody. That's like the main character, Monk, he has a whole bunch of family problems. His mom has Alzheimer's. His brother doesn't understand him, and his brother's always doing drugs and trying to live his best life because he's having a midlife crisis. And the only people that he has like real close to him are his sister. It's just the foundation. What this movie does extremely well is deliver agenda with a nuanced take on how everyone perceives media, art, and film, where it's like no one likes an open-ended ending. No one wants to think after they've sat through a 2-hour-long movie. People come to movies for a definitive ending. Is the artist supposed to make art for the artist's sake, or is the artist meant to make art for the audience's sake, the people that are going to be enjoying it? I don't think that there is an answer for that. In the perfect world, every artist and everyone should be able to express themselves in any way that they see fit, with nuance, of course. It's the same kind of thing with YouTube a little bit. Everyone wants to be a YouTuber. Everyone wants to do YouTube. And everyone has this specific dream that they have in mind of what kind of stuff that they want to make. And then they start making it and nobody watches. Nobody cares. Because you have to follow the algorithm. You got to follow a certain thumbnail style. You got to follow a certain editing style. You got to edit for retention. Probably only 3 people got to this part of this video, which is crazy. But in the perfect world, you should be able to show your art how you see fit, right? You shouldn't be bound to the rules of the man. But yeah, this film was so well packaged. It struck the perfect balance between comedy and drama, tension, sadness. I felt all the feelings in this one. I cried. I shed a tear watching this movie, which this one is the only Oscar film in this batch that has gotten me to actually shed a genuine tear during the movie. Not even when it ended, just like during the movie. It's powerful. It's powerful, man. Great message for black creators out there, and then also just anyone who wants to create. It's sad. It's the dichotomy. If art held up to the true name of art, everyone's art would be just fine no matter what. But you gotta play to the crowd. I have nothing bad to say about this movie. I have nothing bad to say. This was just an outstanding movie from beginning to end, period. That's it. What's the next movie? The movie I just watched was Past Lives, and this movie was just something special to see lay out in front of you. The whole concept of the movie centers around the idea of this Korean concept called Inyun, which is the idea that every person that you have met in your life that is substantial to you, be it a friend or a girlfriend or a husband, wife, anyone that has any level of significance to you, you have met in a previous life. You are bound by fate to one day meet again in another life with a whole different kind of relationship. And that's just how it goes. The film tells the story of these two childhood best friends growing up in Korea. The guy develops feelings for his best friend, and unfortunately, due to family circumstances, she had to move from Korea to New York. And so she ended up growing up in New York, and he ended up, they're completely out of each other's lives. And she since then has gotten married to another person, and he is still gripping on to this childhood memory that he holds very, very near and dear to himself. So they plan to meet up, things happen, and they find out that things are okay. This movie just made me think about a lot of things. The core message, your experiences are unique, and whether or not it's the right time or the right place, it can dictate how your entire life can go. And there's a lot of things that we wish that we could change about the past and things we could have done and would have done. But ultimately, you have to be okay with where your future is going. They take the trope of moving to a different country, meeting another person, and they do this storyline, and it makes you feel no animosity at all. Everybody is so understanding about everyone's lives, leading to the only person who would have conflict is the audience. Whether or not you're watching this movie at the right place and at the right time, whether or not you're single or married, or there is somebody in your life that you wish that you have confessed to at a younger age, or if you're still holding on to a childhood crush, you just have to accept the fact that everyone else is their own person, and you have to be able to move on from those kinds of things, because from your point of view, that person existed for a very, very short period of time. But for the other person who gets to experience them now, they're experiencing a totally different person. And it's like when people grow up, they actually change. And it's hard for some people to come to terms with that people always have. Well, that some people have this idea that I've met you at this point in my life, so you must be still like this for forever, right? Well, it's like, no, people grow and people change, and people can't dictate their entire lives around just one person because they have their lives to live. Is that a selfish thing to think? I don't know. Maybe it is, and maybe it isn't. You feel like, well, maybe since they were childhood sweethearts, maybe they should be together. But then again, is someone more entitled to a certain person just because of the person who they knew whenever they were younger? Not necessarily. It's just a very, very weird situation. The barrier. What could have been, but was just slightly different, just based on location, circumstance, language barrier. Everything can change like that. And all you can do is just try your best. That's it. I don't know if this movie is nominated for Best Soundtrack, but man, is the music in this movie just a vibe. It's such a good vibe throughout the entire thing. It's just all of this really nice, somber piano and just very atmospheric ambience sounds throughout the entire movie. And I couldn't help but feel so immersed into all the little sound design details in this movie, from just hearing cars just like that one. I don't know if you could hear that. From hearing cars move from like left and right across the screen, from hearing the rain fall into puddles. It's like these are certain moments in time where you gotta just take a look around and appreciate what you got while you still got it. I forget what the director's name. I'll put her name right here. This was also her first movie, and man, what a great one to start with. The cinematography in this movie is also really something to think about. There are only 3 characters in the entire movie, and so you want to make it really, really personal. And each shot that they have on the screen, it's these really long takes that remind me of a different movie called Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and After Midnight. Those are 3 separate movies I just named, and they kind of have this similar feel to it, where if you want your characters to really breathe and to have people connect with them, just put them on camera and then just let them talk. Just hold on for as long as possible, because that's where you get those human moments, those very unique human moments. I was reading up a little bit about this movie too, and the director made it a conscious choice to separate all of the actors before they met on camera, just so you could get this real-time human reaction of meeting a new person for the first time, even if you've already seen them before, because they can look them up, they can look at pictures and interviews and stuff of each other, but meeting, that's a totally different person that they're watching as to whenever you're meeting them and talking with them in person. Hey, I realize why they call it the best picture, and I understand why all these are nominated, because they're all really, really, really good. I didn't think all of them were going to be this good. I thought there'd be at least one stinker, but as of right now, I have 3 more movies to watch. I think I have 3 more movies: Holdovers, Maestro, and some other thing. Oh, The Zone of Interest. And I just feel like those ones are also just going to be just outstanding. So, yeah, Past Lives is go watch this movie. Go watch it. It's great. It's great. All right, what's the next movie? What's the next one? Don't try to fight it. There ain't nothing that you can do. Why, hello there. We're going to tone things down just a little bit as we move into our next film, which is The Holdovers. The movie is set from 1970 to 1971 over the course of a Christmas break. The film stars Paul Giamatti as a strict professor of a New England boarding school who is forced to chaperone a handful of kids that have nowhere to go over Christmas break because their parents either go on vacation or... Yeah, that's pretty much it. The school cafeteria manager whose son passed away during the Vietnam War. It's just a bunch of people who have nowhere to go. They stay over school on break, because I guess that's what you do in boarding school. I've never been, so I can't tell. Not a big smart one up here. As the movie unfolds, we dwindle down to focus on our 3 main characters: Paul Hunnam, Angus Tully, and Mary Lamb, the teacher, a student, and the cafeteria manager. And they all have their own struggles that we see play their course throughout the movie, which really ties into the theme of the film, which I think is overcoming loneliness and heartbreak. Our main character, Paul, he's very strict, and he loves academics. He's everything academics. He keeps to himself, and he's very content with being with himself. He really cares that other people put their best foot forward and are proper and are nice, and that's almost a facade for him that maybe he doesn't even know that he's putting up, because he struggles with alcohol consumption throughout the course of the movie. Likewise with Miriam, who's the school cafeteria manager, she's dealing with the first Christmas break without her son. It's very tough for her to overcome this loss. Then we got Angus Tully, whose mom and stepdad wanted to go on vacation without him, so they left him at the school for him to just wait there until they got back from their inevitable vacation. The movie, in my opinion, is about overcoming loneliness, finding your own sense of family and your own sense of belonging, which this movie is. It's very heartfelt, very cozy. The director, Alexander Payne, was very surprised by how people received this movie. I guess he didn't expect it to become like a cozy, like heartwarming Christmas film, but that's exactly what it is. The poster has a little ornament on it. So, I mean, I don't know what's more Christmas than ornament, but maybe Santa Claus? I don't know. Oh, wait, Santa Claus, yeah, he's in the movie. This film, it's like waiting in a giant Olympic-sized swimming pool filled with hot chocolate. Perfect temperature where it's not too hot to burn you, but it's just warm enough to keep you nice and cozy. What a warm feeling. You can take a little cup and just anytime you want throughout the entire course of the movie. Who would have thought a Best Picture nomination would be a good movie? The 70s aesthetic remains throughout the entire movie, down to its cinematography, the way that the movie's written, and also to the editing. A lot of cross dissolves, a lot of zooms. There's a chase scene in the movie. What? A lot of kooky, crazy, wacky hijinks. I can definitely see this movie becoming like a holiday cult classic, almost. It's very, very similar to films like Paper Moon and Dead Poets Society, for anyone who's seen any of those films, where, it's a melancholic story that's balanced with really witty comedy. The Holdover strikes a perfect balance between highbrow comedy and just edging on the brim of becoming too melancholic. It's just right in that line throughout the entire movie. It sticks the landing right next to the Olympic-sized swimming pool filled with hot chocolate. Get yourself a cup. You too, get yourself a cup of Olympic-sized hot chocolate today, only on the Flitch channel. But The Holdovers, it'll warm your heart, your soul, any other body parts that you can think of. And you can watch this one with your family, no matter who they are, and no matter who you call your family. Also, this table is fake. It's a box with a cup on it. I can lift it up. And that's all she wrote. This is a hard film to critique. The film I just watched was called Maestro. This was the one on the list that I was not looking forward to the most. There's a movie called Tar that came out last year, and I was really excited to go see it. I saw it. I couldn't even finish the entire thing. It was just too much to sit through. Yeah, the bore of the century. Whenever I see these composer movies, I get kind of put off just a little bit because I've already been burned before. That's why I was really dreading watching this movie. But you know what? I'm glad I sat through it because this movie was great. It's a dramatic historical biopic about Leonard Bernstein, the famous American composer. It's not like a rags to riches story. The movie starts off on his big break, and then he explodes into popularity. And we really center on two major things: his relationship with himself and his relationship with his wife. There's not a lot about Leonard Bernstein's social impact for the entire world, or what he did for the music industry and what he did for composers. What I saw this movie as was kind of like a love letter to Leonard Bernstein, almost, to celebrate him. It's also kind of a period piece as well, and it goes from black and white, this like granular mid-70s look, to up into like the late 90s. I couldn't help but get really immersed into this narrative. And that's mainly due to the fact that the score was all Leonard Bernstein stuff. It was so good. Also, this movie was directed by Bradley Cooper, also produced by Bradley Cooper, also produced by Martin Scorsese, and then also produced by Steven Spielberg. If this movie ain't Oscar bait, I do not know what it is. I do not know. It pays homage to the classics, West Side Story. Songs that'll make you get up and wiggle your finger a little bit. Do one of these. Best line of the movie is, "Who left Snoopy on the vestibule?" Also, Snoopy the dog makes an appearance into this period piece, this musical period piece about Leonard Bernstein. The MVP of this movie is Carey goddamn Mulligan. She carried so hard in this movie. Bradley Cooper was great. Bradley Cooper was good in this movie, but Carey Mulligan, she outacted every single person. She acted circles around everybody. More and more as I watch these movies, I'm still trying to pick who I think is going to win Best Actor and who's going to win Best Actress. As of right now, it's a tie between Carey Mulligan and Emma Stone. If you want to know my full list, hey, like this video, and maybe I'll do my Oscar picks. Maybe. It's up in the air for me right now, just because I enjoyed the acting and I enjoyed the cinematography so much in this film. But after I got done watching it, I'm like, what was the message? I just couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was, other than just to tell the story of Leonard Bernstein and Felicia Montealegre. The story that they told, it was a sincere, heartfelt, in some parts very bittersweet story between the two of them. I would either want to see, more of a biopic about either Leonard Bernstein's social impact on society and his further accomplishments, and what he meant to people like around the world. Like he's the man made so much music for a multitude of Broadway musicals and movies and concerts, and and the man cooked. We jump around a lot between big points in his life, and by the end, all you really get the sense of is that Leonard Bernstein loves music and he loves people. And I guess maybe that is the moral of the story, and I guess that's the moral of the movie, is just to let you know that Leonard Bernstein loves you. Maybe not. I don't know. Or if they could tell the story through Felicia's point of view, because she carried this film. She carried this film so hard. And I don't want to rag on Bradley Cooper because he also did a very good job. My only thing with Bradley Cooper is that he does like this. The entire time he's kind of speaking like this. It takes a second for you to get used to, but afterwards it's just like, okay, whatever. But it's definitely a choice that he made to commit throughout the entirety of this movie. Also, apparently Bradley Cooper studied for 6 years to conduct one scene in this movie that lasts 8 minutes. And boy, does he look like a conductor in the movie. So round of applause to Bradley Cooper for looking like a conductor in the movie. It's a beautiful movie that touches on a small but very impactful part of Leonard Bernstein's life, but kind of makes you want to see just a little bit more. The opening shot and the cinematography and the transitions are seamless in this movie. There's so many match cuts that jump over just like periods of time that I thought were just so sick. And I'm like, Bradley Cooper made this? The raccoon made this? What? Man, Raccoon should make some more movies. But I guess it's going to take 6 more years for that. I like it for what it is. It could have been more, and that's pretty much it. I'm really hoping that the next movie that I watch is something, super lighthearted, just nice, cozy. I don't want to get super down again. So hopefully the next one will put a big old smile on my face. Okay, so I was wrong. The next movie that I watched was not funny. It wasn't silly. This film, other than Poor Things, made me the most uncomfortable to watch, and I was disgusted. But I enjoyed that this film could make me feel disgusted, and it's mainly due to what the film's about. The film that I watched was The Zone of Interest. The story takes place in World War II during the Holocaust, and we center around a SS soldier and his family as they live literally right outside of the walls of Auschwitz. And the way that the Nazis are portrayed in this movie is just to see them as normal people, just going through normal things. And that's what I found the most disturbing about this film. That they're portraying them this way, in a sense, not to glorify the Nazi regime. It's to play into this horrific, just horrific view of this is how they viewed society. And the way that the movie shows this is just to show these people as just like a normal family, right? They're swimming, they're eating cakes, they're planning holidays, they get into civil disputes with one another, petty stuff. But and the film, it's masterfully quiet but not silent. And what I mean by that is there's barely any dialogue in the film. Most of it is just action and reaction, and then every once in a while there's little bits of dialogue. For example, there's a scene in the film where the soldier's wife is in her house, in her bedroom, and she's putting on makeup, getting ready for the day, right? And in the background, you hear a crying baby, you hear a dog barking, and then you hear gunshots. And she's just applying this makeup, applying lipstick, acting like this is just completely normal. And so everything around them is screaming that, hey, we are in danger. This is danger. But, this is the world that they lived in. They were living in this bubble of, yes, this is wonderful. This is just another Tuesday for me. If you didn't hate Nazis before, bro, there's always a reason. The gall that some of these people have, having casual boardroom meetings about updating gas chambers, like it's a PowerPoint presentation that you made in middle school or something. The scene where the SS soldier schedules a pool party for his kids, and it's right outside of Auschwitz. Like they have a garden, they have a pool, and they have like a slide and stuff. And in the background, while all these kids are playing, you see this plume of smoke that crosses the horizon. And, through context clues, you can figure out that, that's the train leading people to Auschwitz. And the set design in this movie, it was kind of like a Wes Anderson take. Everything was super pristine, symmetric. They cared about all of their colors and shapes. It was just like a Wes Anderson film. It was ironically oversaturated in its color scheme. And that pairs with the devastating story that they tell characters throughout this film. They never show exactly what is happening behind the walls at Auschwitz. Hear about the stuff that they're doing, but they never show you what is happening behind that wall. Also, this movie came out, I think, right at the tail end of 2023, like in December. And it's already not, and it's been nominated for Best Picture. And after viewing it, I can totally see why. This is an art piece. Sandra Hüller plays the wife in this movie, and she's also the main character in Anatomy of a Fall. I don't know if I mentioned that in my Anatomy of a Fall thing. That's good information to have. But she's also in this movie. And I don't know if she's nominated for anything for this movie as well, but I could totally see it. The way that they portray these characters, they're played so sincerely. It's like the film is trying to trick you into feeling sorry for some of these characters. But then you realize like exactly where they're at and the situation that they're just encapsulated in. And you can't help but just be disgusted by this family and everybody around it. And in the background, you'll always hear just this slight rumbling going on at all times. Even when it's dead silent, it's never quiet. And you always hear this rumbling playing in the background. And you know that something is afoot all the time. This movie was very powerful. And I can't believe it that they managed to make 10 amazing movies and have them all be nominated for Best Picture. This is going to be very, very, very difficult for me to come to a concrete answer, but it shall be done, and that'll happen right now. We started off with 10 films and then watched 10 films, and now we're gonna decide who's gonna be the worst Best Picture and the best Best Picture. Welcome to the Floskers. So how this is gonna work, I'm gonna give you guys my list from 9 to 2, and then we're going to end off with our worst best film and our best film. I ranked all of these based on how much I liked them, the core theme, how much it resonated with me, and rewatchability. Disclaimer for everybody out there, though one film may win worst best picture, I just want to let everybody know that the worst best picture is still a really good movie, okay? So it by no means is the bottom one a bad movie. But before we get into that, let's ask Schmoople what his favorite film was. At number 9, we have Barbie, followed by Past Lives and Killers of the Flower Moon. Then, at number 6, moving up, we have The Holdovers, next to Anatomy of a Fall and The Zone of Interest. And moving up to the top tier, which one? Who's it gonna be? I'm so scared. We got American Fiction, and probably our most controversial take of the Floskers, Oppenheimer. This was tough, but I think one film just edged it out. Not like that, just a little bit, just a teeny tiny. But first, let's go to our worst best film. At number 10, our worst best film is... it really came down to, would I rewatch this movie? Probably not, but other than that core factor, this film was awesome. It had a lot of strong performances, very smooth cinematography, and you know what? The writing wasn't half bad, but it really came down to, would I watch this film again? And the answer is probably not. And so let's lead into our best picture. At the number 1 spot, and the winner of the Flosker goes to Poor Things. Yeah. I'm a fan of really weird films, and this one was, it was just really, really weird. Hey, can you blame me? Stop blaming me. Stop blaming me. This one was a tough decision, mainly due to the fact that, I think either Oppenheimer or this film could take it. I'm leaning more towards, I think Oppenheimer might win, but you know what? If there's one film I'm going to root for to win, it's going to be Poor Things, but I'll be happy if any of these films win Best Picture, because I just love movies. And let me know what you guys thought of my list. Was it good? Was it bad? What are your controversial takes? Where would you put Oppenheimer? Let me know down in the comments below. And hey, if you made it to the end of this video, holy crap, you just watched like an hour-long video, or maybe you skipped around a little bit. Either way, you made it to the end, and you're seeing this right here. And I'm letting you know that I appreciate that. Let me know if you like these kinds of videos because this video was really, really long, but I had a lot of fun making it. And I guess I'll see what the viewer retention at the end of this. Like, comment, and subscribe. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Maybe we can make that, or maybe I'll fade into obscurity and you'll never see me again. This could be my last video. We'll see. But anyway, thanks for watching. I don't have an outro, but see ya. Peace. That's it. That's all she wrote.